What's up guys, Chinese Guy here, and today's video I'll talk about the new and improved Recon class and its gadgets and features. In a different video I'll analyze the bolt action sniper rifles, which is only used by the Recon class. That video will be coming out very soon, right after this one. The Battlefield 4 Recon class can be a sniper class engaging enemies from a long distance. However, the Recon class isn't always limited to long range combat. Players can equip their soldiers with carbines, shotguns, and DMRs or designated marksman rifles for more of an offensive role and help the team play the objective. The Recon class in Battlefield 3 was a very underpowered class because it was a very weak class on the battlefield because it didn't do anything to vehicles. That kind of forced players to snipe in the back of the map, not really helping the team. But don't get me wrong, there are still some of those aggressive recons who like to carry around PDWs and they help the team by putting down like a T-UGS or a spawn beacon. I just felt like the Recon class was a very defensive type of class in Battlefield 3, but they're here to change that in Battlefield 4 by giving those recons carbines and other equipment. These equipment or gadgets include the confirmed gadgets such as the C4, the PLD aka the SOFLAM, and the Motion Senor Balls. Then there were the unconfirmed gadgets, which we don't know if it will be returning. There are the T-UGS, the Spawn Beacon, and the MAV. Let's get started with the C4. The C4 was first featured in Battlefield games in Battlefield Vietnam, and it has been in every single Battlefield game since then. In Battlefield 3, the C4 was a gadget for the support class, but just like in Battlefield Bad Company 2, the C4 now is in the hands of a Recon. This helped balance out the classes and give some explosive power to the Recon, since in Battlefield 3, if you are a Recon, a tank was next to you and it spots you, you'll most likely be killed. The C4s can cause devastating damage to infantry and vehicles. A single pack can destroy light armor vehicles like the Growler Jeep in Battlefield 3, and 2 to 3 of these C4s will completely destroy a tank. Just like the anti-tank mines, the C4s can be spotted from a far away distance, so keep an eye out for them. The C4 in Battlefield 4 seems to look the same as the C4 did in Battlefield 3, but the C4 now can slightly glide across the ground, giving the user a farther range. It can also be planted while swimming, which can be useful for destroying boats. I'm sure with the C4 now being in the Recon class, there'll be many more players playing the Recon more aggressively. Then there's the PLD, aka the SOFLAM. I'm not sure what PLD stands for, but my guess is Portable Laser Designator. This tool in real life is a laser designator for range finding and locating critical targets for destruction using guided ordnance. It was first seen in the Battlefield series in Battlefield 3, but in Battlefield 3, the SOFLAM was deployed as a stationary weapon, and once it's set down, the player can control it remotely, and it still sometimes will designate targets even when it's unattended. The PLD in Battlefield 4 is handheld, so you don't have to pick it up when you want to move to another spot. It has a similar IRMV scope as the XM25 and also acts as a rangefinder. It'll show you how far you are away from your target you're pointing at. This feature will help long-range snipers in finding the right distance so you can set the right zeroing on your scope. But I'm not very sure if there'll be a zoom optics on the PLD. There was one from the SOFLAM in Battlefield 3, so it is very possible. Just like the SOFLAM from Battlefield 3, once you designate a target, you'll also earn points for it, and you will have helped your team shot down an aircraft or destroy a vehicle. I'm not sure if it will be possible for the Tomahawk missile to track and lock onto the laser designated target that you designated, but if you can, it'll be a very nice feature. Overall, the PLD will become a very useful tool on the battlefield, and I will definitely use it to find the range and mark the enemy targets for my team. The last confirmed Recon gadget is the Motion Senor Balls. It was in the Battlefield Bad Company series and Battlefield Play for Free. This gadget is like a portable T-UGS. It will spot out enemies around the radius of the sensor and put it on your minimap. These Motion Senor Balls kind of remind me of the scan bow from Battlefield 3, but only throwable. I personally probably would not use this as much because there are better gadgets to choose from. The Motion Senor Balls in Battlefield 4 looks almost the same as it did in the other Battlefield games. They are thrown kind of like grenades and operate for a short period of time, then it will no longer detect enemies. I wonder how this gadget will play out since it can really help when you're catching an objective or something. Those are the confirmed Recon gadgets. Let's move on to the unconfirmed gadgets. First is the T-UGS. The T-UGS stands for Tactical Unattended Ground Sensor. It made its first appearance in Battlefield games in Battlefield 3. It is deployed by planting the T-UGS on the ground, and it will sense enemies around its radius and spots them out. It'll beep every time when it detects an enemy moving, and it will show the enemies on the friendly's minimap for about half a second. Unlike the motion balls, the T-UGS will detect enemies until it is destroyed. I don't think there's really a point of it returning since we already have the motion balls, and there are other better gadgets like the C4, which I believe every recon will use. Another non-confirmed gadget is the radio spawn beacon. It was only introduced in Battlefield 3. It acts as a stationary spawn point for your squad. It appeared as a small radio and can be placed anywhere and destroyed. The purpose of the beacon is to allow members of the squad to spawn closer to the objective or gain access to taller buildings. Beacons placed outdoors allow the squad to spawn by parachute. The spawning player will appear about 100 meters in the air with the parachute already deployed. If the beacon is placed indoors or on smaller maps, players will spawn next to the beacon. I'm almost 100% sure the spawn beacon will be back in Battlefield 4 because it was such an important tool in Battlefield 3 and it was highly used. The last gadget that can be returning from Battlefield 3 is the MAV, or Micro Air Vehicle. It is to be deployed, controlled by you, and used remotely to spot enemies in the air. Although it is not equipped with weapons, the MAV in a way can jam and destroy enemy equipment, including other enemy MAVs. The MAV can be shot down by enemies using bullets, but the small size makes the task harder. It can be useful, but I think in Battlefield 4 they have more drone vehicles like the MAVs, but except much better and more for an offensive role. Maybe we might see drones in the China Rising DLC because that DLC was a rename of a DLC called Drone Strike. As more information comes up for the Battlefield 4 Recon class, I'll make another video talking about them. Anyways, my next video will be on the bolt action sniper rifles, so stay tuned by subscribing. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and a comment down below. I appreciate it. Check out my channel for other Battlefield 4 videos. I will try my best to upload daily. I'll continue to strive for being your #1 source for Battlefield 4 videos. Peace out, guys.